Shawne Merriman, Lights Out Xtreme Fighting, and former San Diego Charger and Buffalo Bill, now the LA Chargers, on 365 Sports with Paul Craig and David Smoak. Shawne, thank you very much for your time today. Thanks to Josh Rimmer for setting this up as well. I'd like to, if you don't mind, start. I've seen you make some comments about what the NFL has learned with Damar Hamlin. Incredible news earlier today. Your thoughts about the week of what's happened with the Buffalo defensive back?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I was shocked, right, to say the least. I think that for all of us playing the game of football, we know that there are consequences to the game, right? The physicality of it, sometimes it can be violent and unforgiving to your body, but you can never count on seeing anything like we saw Monday night. I mean, it just it'll rattle any current or any former player that it was devastating. But, the city of Buffalo, man, the love of the fans there, there's no better fans than the way they did that. And yes, I do believe that the NFL did as best they could. I thought they handled it well regarding the situation.
Shawne, you mentioned the city of Buffalo. What was it like? You played your last couple of years there. What's it like with that fan base? It does seem like they are a real community. We've seen them through a couple of blizzards this year helping people out, and they just it seems like it's built, ingrained in that city.
It is. I mean, it was one of the best experiences of my life, and I was fortunate to go there because you hear about the fan base, you see them now because of everyone's on social media with the Bills Mafia and so forth. I'll tell you, living in Buffalo feels like family. It really does. They have that sort of support and care for their players, and more importantly, man, it's a great organization, and the look on Stephon Diggs' face and Josh Allen's face during that time is what really shook most. I think that we all saw it on TV, but we didn't know the severity of what was really going on. But their face told it all.
How much do you miss the game? How much do you miss being able to suit up and go out there?
Not much now. I like waking up in the morning and feeling good, not having to drag myself out of bed and taking a hot shower in order to get normal. But the game is special, man, and you play the game as hard as I possibly played when I did. Then you walk away with very little regret. You say, I played as hard as I possibly could. You always miss it right around training camp. You start smelling that fresh cut grass. You want to get back out there, and you watch offensive linemen go and cut block with you guys. And you don't miss it anymore. So, big deal.
Shawne, you the Lights Out was your nickname for how you played the game. Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. You have this the first internationally streamed Lights Out Xtreme Fighting event taking place a week from tomorrow. I know you got into this. You are this is something that you're an ownership of this and what you're doing. Give us an idea of how you started with the love of this and also the event coming up.
Yeah, so, I started training myself back in the early mid-2000s, and I wanted to just get better with my hand-eye coordination, being outside linebacker, pass rusher. I was convinced to go over there and try it out, and, I just started training every other off-season, during the off-season. I just fell in love with the sport. 2018, we launched Lights Out Xtreme Fighting now on Fubo Sports, Fubo TV. If you don't have Fubo, get it. We got a big fight next Saturday, January 14th, live on Fubo. You can check us out around 7 p.m. We'll be live, and you can watch us all over the country. I believe we'll be showing in France, Spain, and Canada this fight as well. But if you don't have Fubo, get it. It's going to be a big one.
We see the popularity of this type of sporting event. How much do you feel like it is just people like to watch car wrecks in a way? And in this particular case, people fighting, humans fighting, waiting for something like that?
There's no doubt about it. I think that that's why we love football so much in this country. We love violence, right? We love big collisions and impact and, big gladiators out in the field getting after it. And, fighting is the oldest sport we have in this country and in this world. It's been around for, thousands of years. And now it's, MMA has kind of taken a upside in the combat sports industry because of just the competitiveness of it, the disciplines, and whether you're a stand-up guy or jiu-jitsu or, karate or whatever your discipline is. And it's just grown. And for us, we're one of the highest watched programs for Fubo TV, for Fubo Sports. And so now, not only being nationally but internationally, it's been a fun building process for me.
You as a defensive end, I mean, your job most of the time is one-on-one with the tackle, trying to get to the quarterback. How much do the skills that you developed as a pass rusher translate to when you are fighting?
There's a lot of similarities, and you see a lot of former athletes now starting to get into combat sports. Frank Gore and Le'Veon Bell and Adrian Peterson. And you got, I think, 2 or 3 more fighting this year. And so what I've really been focused on, to be honest, is transitioning a lot of former athletes to Lights Out. I mean, it's a very easy transition, especially these guys that don't have a very short career, right? I mean, you might have an all-star linebacker from Alabama or USC, and now they want to start taking up, fighting. So for us, it's been great.
What kind of opened the door to MMA for you? For me, I was watching The Ultimate Fighter, and they had the big, highly talked about finale with Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner. And Stephan Bonner just passed away. Actually, I think it was a week or 2 ago, unfortunately. But that really opened the door for me, and I was kind of locked into the UFC years and years ago after that. What opened that door for you?
For me, it was really the branding of the UFC, right? I'm big into storylines and build up, things like that. I think it's great. NFL films. I mean, the reason why the NFL is so big is because they told these great stories, right? The NFL networks and the 30 for 30. I love the storytelling and talking about the individual, right? And so that's what got me into MMA. Some of these gladiators and warriors who come from nothing and found their way to raise themselves to the top.
Did you ever use that yourself, training to be a defensive lineman?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And in fact, but I started with Jay Glazer, over there at Fox, and Randy Couture. That was my very first day.
Yeah.
And I started to use my hands more and more, and that's 2006 season. I came out and led the league in sacks, and it was just really me being able to use my body and leverage and being able to turn the corner on those big old offensive linemen, and I just felt very comfortable doing that now.
Who was your toughest test as a pass rusher? The one that that when you did get past him, you really, really did feel accomplished.
So you can go all the way back to Orlando Pace, Willie Rowe, Walter Jones. I had to see Marcus McNeil every day in practice, so that wasn't fun either. So playing those guys like that, it made me better because they were just not just athletically gifted, man, but these guys had that it factor, that mean, that toughness, can play the pass very well, but also back when I played, they were running the ball a whole lot more, and those guys can run block as well.
Shawne, what do you think about what the Chargers have going right now with Justin Herbert, 10 wins? How do you feel about the direction of the franchise?
It's always going to be chatter, right? And, people talk about Brandon Staley, Lombardo, the offensive coordinator there. But for those guys to get into the playoffs this year after the amount of injuries that they had, starting in, when Justin Herbert hurt his ribs early on in the season. And then you got Joey Bosa going down. Your starting left, all-pro left tackle goes down for basically close to the whole year. Khalil Mack goes down. I mean, just injuries left and right. And if somebody told you that all those guys are going to go down and they still will have a possibility to play for a 5th seed in the playoffs, no one will believe.
Shawne, Craig brought up the Chargers and the Bills. How much does the DeMar Hamlin story, after the team has to figure out, get back focused on the game? Obviously, the news today was incredible. How much of this can be a rallying cry, or how much of what happened this week can be draining?
I think it can only help. We've seen some catastrophic things on the field. I have too. Guys leaving off in the stretcher in the ambulance. The difference is in this situation, you see in those guys, they have the thumbs up, right? Hey, I'm okay. I'm good. Go out there, win the game for me. But to see your teammate hauled off in the ambulance, he's not responsive. I don't know if I can go out there and continue the game. That's a complete different beast there. But to hear the news today and him asking if they won, I mean, that. The first words of you waking up, being able to breathe on your own, you want to find out the team won. That would give me the inspiration and motivation to go out and play the rest of the season.
Honestly, do you feel like there's anybody that was there in that moment that really maybe in the thought all about DeMar, but also then what they want to do in football the rest of the way or not as far as their career?
You have to think about that. I mean, everyone playing the game of football knows that there's some kind of repercussions, right? You can't just slam your body around for 60 minutes or a decade and not have anything. It's just impossible. But there are always a risk and reward, right? It's obviously the financial reward, but most of us, this was a childhood dream that we get a chance to live out, right? Now we're getting paid a lot of money to take care of our families as well. But that has to run through your head like, hey, this is possible now. No one, I don't think anyone before we've seen Monday night that something like that is even possible happening until you see it.
Now, I want to ask you, I saw a video because getting ready for this segment, and we appreciate you being a part of this show. We really do. Shawne Merriman, again, Lights Out Xtreme Fighting in the huge event on January 14th on Fubo Sports. Did I see Jorge Masvidal? Masvidal is someone that was also a part of this at one point?
No, he's not. I think he may be doing his own thing, some bare knuckle, something like that. But yeah, we have a lot. We have a lot of guys that will have an opportunity at the UFC when they're done with this fight. And we stacked this card with 10 fights, so we'll be live with Fubo Sports Saturday, January 14th, around 7 p.m. And check us out. But this one is going to be probably our biggest one up to date.
Well, good luck with it, Shawne. I appreciate it. I think that what you've done is incredible. Obviously, the career you had in the NFL with the Chargers and Bills was fantastic. And I know you got a lot going on, and appreciate your time today. And again, it's January 14th, Riverside Municipal Auditorium in Riverside, California, Fubo Sports, and the first internationally streamed Lights Out Xtreme Fighting event. Thanks for your time, and have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
You too. Shawne Merriman, Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. His nickname was Lights Out. A hell of a player. Mm-hmm.